Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I about title today's video, here rank all the defensive badges in NBA 2K23 in tiers for Season 4. Now as you can see, the text color in the bottom left here is going to indicate the Season 3 ranking. So, off-ball, pest, and workhorse, I have the D tier. Anything in the green matches the C, yellow matches the B, orange to A, and red to S. So, I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you new, some noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to win to 2,000 likes. Now, if you guys are really consistent with watching these videos on the tier list videos, you guys know they're about 20 to 25 minutes normally. But in today's video, I want to be completely upfront with you guys. There is not a whole lot of movement as far as the defensive badges go, except for toward the top. 100% there's going to be some toward the top. But I just want to kind of get through this video quickly when it comes to the badges toward the bottom, because we all kind of know what these do now. I don't have to explain to the viewer base too much what workhorse does, essentially, or what pogo stick does, post lockdown, anything like that. So we're going to get straight into this, and I'm going to be a little bit quicker with the bottom tier badges and not explain too much, and then we'll accelerate to the back end. Alright, so as far as our two D tier badges, I'm actually moving workhorse back up to C. I do understand its value a good bit now. I'm not going to sit here and say I still respect it entirely, to be honest with you. It's kind of just where I put my extra badges if I have some remaining and I have things in tier 1, which workhorse generally is for, I think, every build, to be honest with you. But personally to me, I don't think this really accelerates your getting the ball, so to say, that much. I know I've seen two tests with it. It really doesn't look that egregious as far as like how much it really helps you do it. It doesn't feel that crazy as well, and I just don't think at all times it's worth investing those badge points in. If you can get something that's maybe a more upgrading of your tier 2s or tier 3s, I wouldn't waste those points on it. I would just maybe say yes, it's more reasonable to run than some tier 1s in comparison, depending on your build. Obviously, like a big man is not running pick dodge or anything like that, so to run workhorse is at least more valuable than that, and it can help you track down long rebounds a little bit. Depends on your court though, especially. For Pro-Am, I don't think it's that necessary. I think for ones, it's like a must-have because the court is so gigantic and wide open, and you're gonna have to track down long rebounds. The less players on the court, the more workhorse is important, if you ask me. I'll put it like that, essentially. Now, for off-ball pest, I still think this is the worst defensive badge in the game, easily, and it's not that it's horrible though. I still have it in the D tier. It's just, it doesn't really compare to any other defensive badge in the game, personally. I think off-ball pest is really just something that you use to protect yourself as a small guard on corner cuts. We've already been over this a lot, and I don't think it helps that much elsewhere. I don't really think as a back-end pick-and-roll defender you're going to really utilize it at all. I don't think as an on-ball defender you're going to utilize it at all. And as far as playing shooting guard defense, yeah, people are going to rap on you and stuff, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, you're just going to hawk your guy so hard. I just feel like for Pro-Am, off-ball pest doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. For Rec Center, though, I will say maybe it's more of a C tier badge where it's more respectable and it's kind of on the same tier as workhorse, probably. So for Rec Center, where you're playing man defense all over the place and you're playing with randoms and you have to just check your guy, simple as that, I don't use off-ball pest, and I still think my like lock-in defense is still really good in Rec Center when I'm playing with the randoms. And yes, I do it. I know a lot of people ask about stuff like that, but I still think it's actually pretty easy to lock in on them, but it just depends on how you play off-ball defense. Either way, still think this is somewhat respectable in rec. Elsewhere, though, I don't really think it's much usable, to be honest. All right, as for the C tiers, we have 4 of them remaining in the C. We have post-lockdown, pogo stick, menace, and ankle braces, and then we have moving up to the B tier, pick dodger. We'll talk about pick dodger first. This is what I'm more interested in talking about, and obviously, like I said, some of these, we already know what they kind of do. Now, for pick dodger, I think people have been sleeping on this a lot, and I think whether you're a fight-through lock or not, honestly, I've even seen in our own utilization of our defense where we play sides defense extremely heavy, we can transition into something where I play front back and fight through screens, but then when I get bodied by a screen finally, I will switch to the big 100%. I think a lot of people can probably agree on the fact that that's a pretty good defensive style, and pick dodger really does help you slide through screens very easily. It makes it so you don't get completely just absolutely annihilated by them too, and I think it just makes you feel more agile on defense when evading those screens and going under or over. Now, if you run right into the dude, it's not going to help you. It's not going to just stop you from getting bodied like that, but it does help you kind of graze past them a little bit or bounce off them figuratively. And that's at least my take on it. You're never going to see a pure lock not running pick dodger when it comes to comp Pro-Am. That's just the facts. Now, as far as park goes, pick dodger is probably not quite as necessary, especially on 2s. Obviously on 1s, it's completely just irrelevant. You're never going to get hit by Casper on a screen. I mean, it's as simple as that. But for 2s, it's rare people run screens. It's probably like a 2% thing that you're ever going to see on there. It's always double ISO, double 6.9s is really the main meta you see. And then for 3s, it's a lot of ISO. It's a lot of catch, run, fade, catch, run, dunk, and it's just not much screens being involved. Now, if they are screens, it's pick and pops, where you generally would be okay with switching everything and playing sides anyway, but it is what it is. Like I said, pick dodger, more of a pro-am badge 100%, and you won't ever see a lockdown not run this. But now for a quick little just graze over pogo stick, menace, post lockdown, and ankle braces. I actually have a good bit of respect for post lockdown. I used this against Ramo, who was spamming post spins and stuff like that in the comp pro-am. It's very usable. I have it on silver. It actually does help you resist those post spins. Very good, even at a really high level as an offensive player versus your silver level as a defensive player. But yeah, the usability for post lockdown, it's not usually there. I'll put it like this. Like, if you play against a post scorer, you absolutely want this badge on 100%. Like, if you do exactly what I did and know that you're going against a post scorer that's going to do post spins, and you know you have a matchup like that, like in comp pro-am, then absolutely put post lockdown on. It's probably going to be an A tier badge because it's going to be something that you're going to be able to utilize. But because you don't know generally who you're going to play against, whether it's park, rec, anything like that, or even just ranked pro-am, generally you don't know that you're going to get these badge point uses, like essentially, where you just don't know if it's going to be worth putting these points into it. Generally it's a tier 2 badge for people that are about, I think 6'9" and up. I think 6'8" and under might be tier 1, but either way it's really tough to really be reasonable with even spending the points on post lockdown. And I might be tripping, it might actually be 6'9", like tier 1 for that matter. I think I only spent 2 points on it, but either way it's hard to justify for always spending 2 to 3, or maybe if it's tier 2, like 4 or 5 points on post lockdown, silver or bronze or something like that, or gold. It's just tough to really justify the fact that you're going to spend that many badge points into the build, or that those badge points in general. And what do you get out of it? Maybe once out every 15 games you end up playing a post scorer that maybe hits you with like 2 drop steps or something like that all game, or a post spin or something like that. But my whole point is, it's rare that you're going to get the utilization out of this badge and the spending of it, and it'd be better to spend elsewhere. But if you know for a fact you're playing a post scorer, go for it 100%. Anyway, ankle braces, I actually have a little bit of a hunch that killer combos might be a little bit better than I feel like I give it credit for. I've seen people that run on Hall of Fame with super high ball handle, like 97 to get it, and man, sometimes it does stun me like crazy. Now the thing is, I'm still unsure of what ankle braces actually does as far as helping that, because I still get stunned sometimes, even when I'm running this on Hall of Fame with 88 Prim D as well, and it doesn't exactly feel perfect as far as the counter to killer combos. So for all I know, ankle braces really could still be in the D tier as far as my true assessment on it. I think it's like bottom of the C tier, to be honest with you. It's probably the second worst defensive badge next to off-ball pest, because even when I run this, I still feel like I get killer comboed by some people if they have it on a high level. Now, most people don't even run that, to be real with you. It's a very rare badge to run into, especially for anything besides Pro-Am, to be honest. But either way, ankle braces is something that you may want to consider if you are getting stunned a ton. It's not going to solve your problem 100% though. So then for Menace, this is as simple as literally for every level of the badge, it's going to drop the offensive player's ratings by 1. So bronze 1, silver 2, gold 3, Hall of Fame 4. And it's something that's maybe reasonable for some locks to run. I also think this is a very like mid-tier badge, like really bottom of the C if you ask me. I think essentially ankle braces and Menace are the lowest C tier badges I have here. And then post lockdown and pogo stick are pretty reasonable. Same with workhorse as well. These are the 3 that are pretty decent, and they're the high C tier. They don't belong in the B though, I'll put it like that. But anyway, moving along to pogo stick, this is a little bit less important now, and I was thinking about moving it to the B tier in this season, but the truth is, after this interior defense update where you can just defend close shot mashes so easily, I don't think pogo stick is really necessary anymore, to be honest with you. It's still a very good badge. It still helps you jump at a way better rate than if you didn't have the badge on at all, but I don't know if it's really needed, to be honest with you. I mean, you can play hands-up defense and defend 7 threes on a 6'9" now. It's pretty unnecessary. I'll just put it like that. That's how I feel about pogo. But anyway, as far as our B tier badges, we don't have anything moving up or down. We have brick wall, challenger, and chasedown. Chasedown, actually pretty respectable badge if you ask me. I think you need vertical to have this be utilizable though. I mean, the truth about chasedown is you have to have a lot of different pairings of things. You have to have anchor to pair with it. You also have to have vertical. You have to have block rating just in general, and then obviously the badge at a decent level too. So I'm a big fan of chasedown, and I think the higher your vertical and the badge itself and those things that I listed between block and anchor, the more of a threat you really become in that sense. But if you don't have any of those, if you're missing block entirely, obviously you can't even put the badge on. And then if you have the badge at a low level but you have good vertical, I still don't think it goes that crazy. And if you're missing vertical, I still don't think it goes that crazy either. So I think you need the pairing of everything combined, and whether you believe that means chasedown should be in the C tier or not, fair enough, you can make that case for yourself, but I still think it kind of is on the same level of these badges. Challenger being the one that's probably the closest to it. I think I would say Brick Wall is the best B tier. Challenger and Chasedown are the most like mid B tiers, and then Pig Dodger is probably the worst B tier, to be honest. But Challenger, this is one that I really do think is a pretty underrated badge. I think the fact that you can get those hands up contests and really enhance your jump shot contest in general, and also I believe it still helps your ghost contest as well. That's my true opinion, and I really will never run this badge like unactive or anything like that. I'll definitely always be putting this on the highest level possible. So badges like that, where no matter what build you're on, you're always going to put it to the max, I think those are the ones that truly belong in the B or A, or S for that matter. And I think a lot of people can vouch for that. Shooting guards that make their builds with like 79 Prim D and get the silver Challenger, they 100% invest in that. Whether it's secondary defenders that are playing the shooting guard as well, that maybe have 86 perimeter defense and the gold Challenger, they go for that 100%. Lockdowns as well. I think you'd be tripping if you're not running Challenger on a lock. And the truth is, no matter what build you're on, you probably max out your Challenger, and it's just a really good glue badge to have, and it really helps, especially even at the bronze level compared to none. But anyway, for Brick Wall, this is a multi-purpose badge we've talked about in multiple different videos. It helps you resist backdowns. It's a really, really interesting thing, not to mention the fact that obviously it sets big bodies on offense too. So I think it's a pretty good and underrated badge, even though I'm saying it's at the top of the B tier. I think some people really do underrate how good this badge can be. But at the same time, I don't want to overrate it. I ran like as a pick and roller in Pro-Am for 2 to 3 months of this year's game with no Brick Wall, and it really wasn't a detrimental thing to our team. It wasn't impossible to run with. So I'll just say, because of the multi-purpose like to it and the fact that you can resist backdowns, it is a pretty cool thing for the sake of 1s, 2s, stuff like that. Obviously for the sake of setting big bodies in Pro-Am and 3s, it's pretty necessary as a big man. But again, I've actually ran without it. I'm probably in the very small minority as far as people that have done that as a screen setter though in Pro-Am. About every screen setter is going to be generally having it on about gold or even Hall of Fame. I've seen a couple of them, but most people have it on like silver gold. Alright, so for our final 6 badges, we have all of them staying the same except for Glove, moving down from the S tier to the A tier. Now, this is still, in my opinion, the best A tier badge there is. I don't think Clamps is better than Glove. I would never catch myself, well, actually, for my build, I would definitely still run Clamps over Glove. I'd get them both on silver on my 6.9, and I would definitely prefer to run Clamps, and I'd be okay with dropping Glove off. But that's for me, who only has 90 steel rating silver Glove. Obviously, for the people that have Hall of Fame Glove, I think they would definitely argue they'd rather keep their Glove on Hall of Fame than their Clamps on Hall of Fame. But either way, my whole point here is that the back plucks getting patched, also kind of in that patch, kind of feels like they just nerfed pluck steals in general, if you ask me. Whether it's front plucks, side plucks, back plucks are gone entirely, obviously. And I don't know, man, 99 steel Hall of Fame Glove does not feel like it did before patch. I'll just put it like that. So I think this badge has found its way into the A tier, probably where it belongs from a gameplay balancing perspective, but I don't know. It's tough to see, man. I never thought I'd see where Glove was no longer in the S tier, and it just truly does not belong there anymore, if you ask me. And I was even gonna think about maybe not putting Anchor S tier anymore because of this patch, where the close shot mashing is really tough at the end of the day anymore, but obviously, this is still necessary for the sake of the driving dunking. We'll get to that in a second, though. Clamps and Interceptor are obviously some very must-have lockdown badges. For those who are running the pure locks or the shooting guard defense in Pro-Am or just in general want to play on a 6.9, I think they make a whole lot of sense to run at a pretty good level. And for most builds, they probably have Interceptor somewhere around silver and gold. Maybe Hall of Fame if you're really invested in it. But obviously, for those pure lockdowns, it's kind of tough because obviously you have to run Interceptor, Clamps, Glove, and Challenger while still having things like Anchor as well. But anyway, it's obvious. Clamps, body ups, simple as that. I think it's still pretty good at that. It's pretty good at getting cutoffs. Not to mention you need this to resist Clamp Breaker. My God, have I seen some devious stuff when AK comes out here with this Hall of Fame Clamp Breaker build, 96 ball handle, and goes at people that have no clamps. It is disgustingly stupid, and to be fair, they need to be running the badge. They're running like 6.3s that don't have clamps because they made one of them little halfway defense guard builds that only run Challenger and Interceptor, and then they don't have clamps, and boy oh boy does it look bad. I'm gonna be real with you. Same with like power forwards, back ends, anybody that's 6'10 plus that can't get clamps. It looks devious when a point guard gets matched up on you with that clamp breaker stuff, and you really can't get body ups on them at the end of the day. They're slippery, you can't grab them. It's about as simple as that, and you will see that clamp breaker animation pop off so much without this. And clamps is just an underrated badge because you don't see the body up, wall off animations and the force pickups or anything like that quite as much in this game as you used to, but it is still necessary to not get clamp breakered. Simple as that, and definitely to still get cutoffs as well. But anyway, for Interceptor, it's actually probably the best A tier badge remaining here, to be honest with you. I would say Boxout Beast can make an argument for it, but either way, for interceptor, this is your most reliable way of getting steals in the game anymore. I mean, playing off-ball defense and rec center is so easy compared to, like, obviously for the sake of park or 2s or anything like that, 3s, but interceptor is a must-have when it comes to 5v5 at every position. You can't afford to not run this, especially for like point guards. It's the only way you can protect yourself on a back door. If you're playing corner defense, for like lockdowns and shooting guards, I would actually maybe even argue lockdown's the only position that doesn't need to run it, because you're going to end up with the ball in your face way more than not. But still, to even like defend those pass backs as well, it's kind of nice to have. And for power forwards, you have to have this. You must have this. If you're playing pick and roll defense on the backside and you don't have interceptor, you are trolling yourself so bad. I would argue that the most important position to have it on is probably your power forward, which generally for the meta of the game gets it on gold, because most people have the 6'9" with a 90 steal rating at that power forward position. But anyway, it's still an A tier badge 100%. I definitely could say you could make an argument for it to be in the S, but I don't really respect that one myself personally. I think it belongs to the A right where it's at. And then for boxout beast, this is a pretty necessary badge at multiple different positions. Let's just say, I think for our team, it's necessary to run for a lockdown, a power forward, and the center, and the point guard should run it even if they can get it on bronze. So essentially what I'm trying to get at here is the only person that doesn't need it desperately is the shooting guard. But even the way we play, on our Pro-Am team, all 5 people run boxout beast to the highest level they can. Between me and IQ, both running it on Hall of Fame, and our P and R duo, where I'm the lockdown, he's the big, as far as like our 4, essentially, right? So we both have it on Hall of Fame. Tonic out the corner as the big man has it on Hall of Fame as well, and then AK only gets it on bronze because it's just a tier 1 that 6'1" guards can get, but he still runs that as well. And Apollo, who's been on that 6'9" build with gold box out beast with 82 defensive rebound, he still runs it on gold too. So it's a very must-have badge. People don't give it credit, and not to mention offensively for the builds that have, like, let's say 99 offensive rebound and Hall of Fame box out beast and some strength to it as well. It's crazy with its warming ability. You could even argue this should be S tier too. And I think the only reason I'm saying all that is because I don't even think these badges really belong in the S tier. I think Anchor and Rebound Chaser could debatably even still be in the A with everything. And these badges should probably all be kind of on the same level, but I do think these are just slightly edged out. Rebound Chaser is more important than Box Out Beast. Anchor is more important than any of these perimeter defense badges anymore. I mean, it's just very close. So, for Rebound Chaser, this obviously, it speaks for itself, is going to help you grab those rebounds at a longer rate, where if you just press your Y button, you'll jump further for it. It's about as simple as that. Not to mention, it just compounds with a good rebound rating, and the ball kind of finds its way into your hands more. I'll put it like that. But anyway, Rebound Chaser is a must for anybody who's playing big, not to mention power forward, center, especially for Pro-Am. And again, for us, I would argue even the lockdown kind of needs it, but it is what it is. Most teams, though, they only run Rebound Chaser on about 2 or 3 people, like 3 max, 2 minimum. Simple as that. Power forward and center, maybe lockdown. And then for Anchor, the reason this is still in the S tier, as we mentioned earlier, is because of the driving dunk factor of this. You don't need this desperately to stop the paint mashing anymore. I think you really just need interior defense, and it's about as simple as that. And you only need that at like a 70 level, if you ask me, where if you have 70 interior D, I think you can really defend paint mashing with just hands-up defense. Not to mention, if you have Anchor, on top of that, it's going to get even better for you. But Anchor, to me, is going to be way more about driving dunk and just making people miss quick drops, like making them get kicked out of dunks and stuff like that. Anchor is just the important paint D badge. Simple as that. So I still feel it belongs in S. You guys can leave your comments as far as what you believe as far as the tier list. And again, we don't have anything rated super low, but that's just the truth. I think all these badges are right here with each other, and then the B tier is slightly above them, the A tier is slightly above them, and the S tier is ever so slightly above the A tier. I think these are the two that are pretty close in comparison. But anyway, that's all for video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, for the drop a like, sub, new channel noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the vid, put D or defense in the comments. Search approach me all the way through. Anyway, stay tuned for the rest. We obviously dropped the finishing one a couple of days ago. If you want to check out the shooting and playmaking, I'm probably just going to drop them like day after day after day now, and I'll just keep the 3 of them in back-to-back-to-back post. But anyway, that's all for video. Hope you all enjoyed. And that, take it easy, man. Peace.